Hello everybody, my name is Christian, and today we actually have something positive to talk about. This never happens on this channel. Well, at least it doesn't happen often. I'm trying to improve on that. We're working on it, but still. I don't know when exactly this is going to be coming out, but as of today, the 3.2 special program came on this morning. Whenever I finally woke up, because I wake up late, I skimmed through it, and then I watched a few more of the segments in detail, and I have to admit, guys, I am actually very pleased with the state of the game that they kind of showed off, and a lot of the things that they have planned going forward. I am very, very surprised by it, and yeah, I'm just really hoping that this can actually be a very solid turning point for the game, after what has been a rocky few updates and a lot of controversy between the community and the creators. Now, obviously, I want to clarify before some of you immediately start going down to the comments furiously typing away. Not everything was positive, and I will make note of the things that are not positive, but I will be doing that at the end because I really do want to focus on all the good stuff that we have coming up. There are quite a few things that I feel like really deserve to be highlighted, and there are just quite a few things that I'm sure that many of you have already seen and know about, but are still really important to talk about because they're just so impressive for where the game is at right now. So with me today, I have a bit of a little checklist that I'm going to go through. It's not going to be in any specific order because I just kind of wrote things down as I remembered them about the program, but we'll see how that works. It's going to be a pain in the ass to edit, but hey, that's life, I guess. So we're going to go through this little bullet point list. I'm going to kind of give my thoughts on why I think it's a good or kind of more mediocre thing. And after doing all that, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the bad things. And there you go. That'll be the video. All right. No more dilly-dallying. Let's get into it. All right. So the first thing I kind of want to knock out is It's a bit more of a polarizing thing. It can be good and it can be bad, or for some people it really doesn't matter, but it is going to be the top-up refresh. And with that, we are going to get into the spending event. But let's start with the top-up refresh. This is a pretty easy thing. They did this last anniversary. If you have ever bought Oneric shards, then you can get the one-time bonus back for buying them. Obviously, that is a pretty big boost if you have never purchased them before. It gives a decent few extra for, like, whichever package you're buying, and it's pretty helpful overall if you want to get more characters, more pulls, blah, 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 blah. Pretty nice. This is like, for whales, this doesn't matter because they're buying the packs anyway. For people who don't buy at all, this really doesn't matter. And then there might be people like me who get the pulls occasionally. This is pretty helpful actually because now you're getting a lot more bang for your buck if you spend very, very lightly. So, not exactly a big deal, but overall this is still just a objectively kind of positive thing, I suppose. Not really much to be upset about per se. So, wanted to knock that one out because it's real easy. So the spending event. So, for those of you who do not know, Hoyoverse also makes the game Honkai Impact 3rd. If you don't know that, I don't know how you're here right now, I'm gonna be honest. In Honkai Impact 3rd, there are constant events that focus on spending and using pulls. The more you spend, the more pulls you use, you will actually get further rewards for it, which can be like, oh, you'll get a costume, oh, you're gonna get these helpful in-game materials, or oh, hey, you even get a box that'll let you select a premium weapon or whatever. So the thing is, though, with spending events, they are completely optional, and there is never, like, an amazing reward locked behind it, usually. There might be some sort of premium thing. However, in a lot of cases, you can get that, again, at a certain point, or it might be added to a shop later on. So, overall, not the biggest thing in the world to miss. I know some people were kind of concerned when they heard about a spending event in Honkai Star Rail, but truth be told, this is actually pretty fine. I feel like you're not going to be missing out on much with this, especially since they've already kind of shown you the rewards that we could get. You can get either companion spirits, or you can get some of those light cone shards that'll let you get premium light cones from the in-game shop. Those are obviously both very, very helpful rewards. However, that's not really what I would call super, super essential or super great. It's like, if you're already gonna spend, I would recommend spending during this time period because you'll get rewarded for it more, but otherwise, you're kind of fine. It's not really a big deal in all actuality. It's like, it can be seen as a positive and a negative, truth be told, so I wanted to get that out of the way as well for that reason, but overall, I don't really see a huge issue with it, because I've seen it in Honkai Impact 3rd, and if they keep it kind of similar to that, it's really not going to be that bad. So now that we got those two kind of more monetary things out of the way, we can finally move on to some more interesting things. So we're going to move on to the two big hitters of this special program. First up, in this update, you can get a free character choice of either Ron Mei or Luocha. No strings attached, and it is redeemable all the way up until version 3.4. That's incredible. I cannot describe how incredible that is. Because let's keep in mind, Ron Mei is one of the best supports in the game to this day. One of the most essential characters for break teams, a great choice if you don't have a party-wide buffer like Robin, or you don't have another great overall character like Tribby. Ron Mei is a phenomenal character, super helpful in almost every scenario. If you can get her, that's a great choice. And then, at the same time, Luocha. Luocha is the lowest investment healer in this game. Like, even then, Gallagher does a lot of what Luocha does very well. But even then, Luocha takes a little less investment than Gallagher purely because his heal is automatic. You don't have to do anything for Luocha. While Luocha doesn't offer the same, competitive buffs or same overall moveset that other characters have, if you want somebody to keep you alive, to always heal you, Luocha is your man. These two characters being the free character options, honestly, I really like it because, especially in the case of Luocha, he's just a good character that anybody can use. And then Ron Mei is probably the better choice of the two. But even then, there is merit to picking Luocha over Ron Mei in terms of actual account-wide stuff, because if you already have a Ron Mei, E1 could be helpful. But if you don't have a Luocha, another healing option is never going to hurt you, especially when he has multiple teams right now, where he can be pretty good overall. In terms of my personal recommendation, I have Ron Mei. I do not have Luocha, but I know multiple people who have Luocha. I would probably recommend Ron Mei in almost every instance, because even then, with Ron Mei, if you already have her, you could get an E1 for her. Or if you're missing, or if you have a different Eidolon that you're already on, you can get another Eidolon in general. An extra Eidolon is always going to be extremely helpful. The thing is, though, is that if you have a team that you really like that contains, Mighty, or if you don't want to use Gallagher, or don't have Huohuo for casters coming up, Luocha is not going to be a bad choice. Or if you just don't have a good premium healing option, if you're working with, Lynx, Bailu, fucking Natasha, if you're working with any of those, I'm going to be honest, I would probably recommend Luocha to you, because Luocha is really good at his job. It's just a different world with him. He really is a very solid healer. So overall, I recommend Ron Mei, but there are definitely quite a few cases where I would say look into Luocha if you need him. So from there, we're now going to move on to none other than the customizable standard banner. This is incredible. Also a little bullshit, but incredible. So before I get into the pure positive of it, I will say, if you have pulled for Zila, if you have pulled for Blade, or if you have pulled for Fu Xuan, seeing them added to the standard banner rotation, admittedly, that is a little upsetting, because I spent some of my pulls early on Zila, never really used her, and then by the time I was really getting better at the game, Zila wasn't really a competitive character. She already needed multiple other supports that I did not have. It was definitely a little annoying, and now to see them added to the standard banner, yeah, that kind of sucks if you've gone out of your way to use pulls on them in the past, but overall, this is a very good change. Standard banner characters overall are not amazing. A lot of them are a bit weaker at this point, especially in the case of Yanqing and Bailu, who are they're a bit more lower tier characters. They're not really fantastic, mind you. And even the better ones of the standard characters, like Himiko and Clara and Bronya, even then, they're not incredible. They were never incredible past, like, the end of version 1.x. So to see that this has kind of been updated to include characters who also aren't super, super good nowadays, it's honestly a good thing to see, because now people never have to worry about using their premium tickets on an old character that they may just want. Obviously, you still have to get the character at some point through standard banner, which, boy oh boy, that can be annoying. But I digress. This is still an overall positive change, because as the game evolves, characters are going to continuously get worse. I feel like it's not a bad thing to add them to standard banner, because now people who really want those characters, but, you know, they're not great, so there might not be as much incentive to pull them, now they don't have to worry about that. They can still get the new premium characters, while also they now have a chance to still get the character that might be their favorite. Like, you know, if there's a real big Blade fan, if there's a big Zila fan, they're probably going to keep adding characters to this. So maybe someday, like, if there's a big Topaz fan like myself, and then I haven't been able to get Topaz, there we go, I can get her off of standard banner now. It's certainly not a perfect solution to anything. However, I really do think that this is a great thing for a lot of new players, and I think it's just a good change overall, truth be told. I really, really like that they are doing this, because it also sets the precedent that this can happen in the future with more characters. So, going back to that kind of spending event, I kind of forgot to mention this actually, but also, so alongside adding more characters to the standard banner, we actually also have more premium light cones getting introduced into the game into, I believe, a new shop. This is once again something very reminiscent of what Honkai Impact 3rd does. Honkai Impact 3rd actually allows you to buy 5-star Valkyries with in-game currency that you can earn. That is a very cool feature, and it's like, you're not going to get a bunch of meta characters that way, but you can get fun characters, or you can still get some decent ones that might help a team or two. It's overall just a very cool system. I personally kind of like it. It's very fun. And at the same time, I feel like what they're doing in Star Rail with having premium light cones be that is a very, very good choice, because light cones are transferable to so many characters. If you look at best build or something from a YouTuber, from Predwin, from any other build site, you'll see stuff like, oh, Ratio's light cone is always good for some of these hunt characters. Zila's cone is always going to be pretty good. There are so many characters who can actually end up using these light cones because they're just so good. So having those actually attainable in a new way is really, really helpful. Now, we'll address the elephant in the room again. It said that you can get the light cone pieces or whatever it was by using the battle pass, by buying the battle pass. Once again, this is not something that is completely essential. This is just something fun and can be helpful for a lot of players. Ultimately, this is still a little not great for free-to-play. I'm not sure if there are going to be free ways to earn these light cone shards right now. I'd feel like we didn't really get that information. If somebody can correct me in the comments, it would be appreciated. However, I don't mind this as well, because truth be told, it's like $10. That's really not that bad. Look, I'm gonna be honest, that's really not that bad. $10 is not too bad. Like, I think that if you're not gonna consistently buy anything in this game, which, as per usual, I would never recommend, if you're not gonna buy anything consistently, the one thing I would say is pretty worth its value is the battle pass. If you are an active player like I am, like you're playing every day, or you're playing at least 5 times a week or so, the battle pass is of incredible value to you. You're going to be able to easily finish all the missions. You're going to be able to get a lot of rewards. Overall, it's just a pretty solid investment. I should once again clarify, I actually don't buy the freaking battle passes very often. I bought it for the first time last month because one of my viewers donated for it. God damn you, Anhora. It's still not a horrible investment though. I would say what's it called? Whatever the Express Supply Pass. The Express Supply Pass, that is actually still of a better value. I would probably recommend that. But the Battle Pass itself, not bad at all. So I don't really super mind this. I would like if there was a way to get light cone shards in the game normally. We'll see about that. But overall, this is once again a pretty cool addition. I kind of like what they're doing with this. And it can once again set a good precedent. Because if they're going to add a shop similar to what Honkai Impact 3rd has, That's sick. That's going to be helpful. I really, really like that. Somebody turned on their mower. So, moving on, we have a few more things to discuss. One of them that I'm just going to get out of the way real brief. If you are a Dr. Ratio fan, and you didn't get the free one that was available for a while, I have great news. Ratio's coming back. He's going to be partnered alongside Anexa, so if you are somebody who really likes pulling for the men, that sucks, but hey, I believe in you, do your best. But still, it is nice to have Ratio back, because he's been gone since he came out for free. We went through an entire version without seeing Ratio again, which is very sad. Speaking about free things, we are getting another new free 5-star this year. We do not know who it is currently, but still, that is awesome. Any chance to get a free character is always going to be helpful to a lot of players, and I feel like it's really, really something you should take advantage of, unlike me who never really used Dr. Ratio. But this is a good thing overall, and I'm really hoping it'll be somebody kind of different, like maybe we can get one of the free characters from the Fate collab, maybe there'll be 2. I kind of doubt that, but hey, I can believe at least. There is one thing I will be able to say with almost 99% confidence. This character is probably going to be a man, and if it isn't a man, welp, fuck me, I guess. So now we're going to just run through a quick lightning round of other good things that aren't really, like, worth getting a full segment on, but are still pretty good. We are going to be having the Planar Fissure event again, and Relic of the Strange Relic event, whatever it's called. There's going to be a 300% boost on that. I don't believe that's the standard boost, so, hey, that's fun. Next up, we will be getting 30 free pulls, because we get the usual 1600 Stellar Jades plus 10 fuel, and this time you can get a little thank you note from whichever character you pick out of the Astral Express or Stellaron Hunters. That's cool. And then they've increased the event that gives you the 10 Jades at the start of an update to 20 in honor of the anniversary. Nothing to complain about there. We're getting a new kind of board game like last year. Really excited for that. I really love that board game. And yeah, I think that's it in terms of a bit of the smaller stuff that's still going to be nice. So before I finish up this segment and I go into some very, very specific things that actually focus on the gameplay side, there is one more thing to talk about for a lot of players. This is going to be big. Character buffs. On the special program, they confirmed Blade, Kafka, Silverwolf, and Jingliu will all be receiving buffs in 3.4. Kafka mains. This is our time. Actually, I'm not a Kafka main. I just like the character. But either way, this is very, very nice. They confirmed it is buffs to the character themselves, not just adding in a new character to help them. This is awesome to see. Blade is one of the more unique characters in Star Rail with a very cool mechanic. Kafka, she is the engine of DOT. I love using her. I'm super excited for what they're going to do with her. Silverwolf was a great character for a very long time who inevitably fell off because she simply couldn't do defense shred to multiple characters, a very specific thing that kind of killed where she was in the meta. Jingliu is one of the more fun characters in the game, has a super fun play style, and is still not awful nowadays. I've seen more people make her work because of Sunday and other characters. Overall, though, I do think the buffs are going to help. They're kind of a little bit necessary. So this is an awesome thing to see, and this is just the first wave of buffs that they're putting out. I cannot wait to see what they do with other characters. I absolutely love to see this. So the last little segment we're going to talk about here is a bit more gameplay focused. This was more at the end of their special program. The first thing I want to talk about is we are going to start seeing more animated short styles in the actual game. That is so cool, and is going to be such an increase in quality for the game and its story. Imagine getting to see something like Jingyuen's A Flash in the actual game as part of the story that you're playing in that moment, and then it leads into a battle. That is so cool. It feels much more reminiscent of normal RPGs you would see on like PlayStation, Nintendo Switch. That is just so cool. I absolutely love that change, and if you find a way to complain about this, I think you're just a hater. This is objectively so cool. I love this. Next up, it was a small comment from one of the people, but apparently it's gonna be a very good year for March and Dan Hung, so hey, My March and Dan Hung fans, rise up. This is your moment. This is your year. I am super, super happy about that. And it seems like this game is going to take a approach similar to what Honkai Impact did as well, with your 3 main characters being Kiana, Raiden Mei, and Bronya. Those 3 main characters, they received constant increases in power, new forms all throughout the story to keep up, and kind of really make it seem like there was progression and depth. And that's what we're seeing here. And I absolutely love that. That is amazing. That is super, super good design in my opinion. So I am really glad to see that they are going to keep that up, and that means March is going to get another form. God bless. I love to see it. 5-star March. Copium. And yeah, that is another good piece of news that I feel like most people should just be happy about. Probably enjoy that. That's going to be fun. Last but not least, this is one of the more specific things, but if you are a lore nerd, you're a story person, the 3.8 finality mission in Penacony, we can finally see so many things that were not included in the main story. We get to see a bit more about the Stellaron Hunters. We get to see bits about the IPC. We get to see things about the Masked Fools with Sparkle and Sampo. And hopefully that means that Acheron will be back too. We're going to see what kind of happened in a bit more of the areas where she wasn't around. This is wonderful, wonderful to see. Penacony was one of the best stories that they've done, and it is probably the best story that they've done, and I don't think many people will argue me on that. And even then, it's like they're saying right now, there was so much that they couldn't include, so much that they had to cut out. The fact that they can do this, and the fact that we're going to get to see so much more, is amazing. Like, that's wonderful. I am really excited for this. Penacony just had a lot of characters that I liked. It had just a lot of good themes, a lot of good side plots that now we really get to see expanded on. These last few points, these are going to be amazing for people who really like to focus on the story, don't really care about hard content or anything, or really, they just really enjoy characters. These are huge if you just love seeing the quality of the game actually increase. Alright, we have finally hit the end of my little bullet list here. So now at the end of the video, we will discuss the bad of that special program. And while I don't think there was much, we do have one problem still. First of all, the spending event, I already kind of made mention. It can be a good or bad thing. Me personally, I don't think it's really that bad, but I can also see why it's not a good thing. I can. So, making mention of it here, just in case. We are having another triple banner. I know some people have actually said they really enjoyed the triple banners, but I've seen just as much love for them as I see hate for them. So, once again, making mention of it, you know, want to make sure everyone's equally represented. And now, Casterus. Casterus's global passive still exists. They explain it in the special program by saying it really makes sense that she wouldn't be in the party to activate it because she simply has an authority over death that is unmatched by almost anyone who we will ever see or meet. Ultimately, this is reasonable in terms of a story perspective. However, I still personally very much believe this would have been very, very easy to just put as part of the story rather than linking it to the character herself. I really do think this could have been very easily avoided, and now that this global passive is confirmed to be real, and it is not going anywhere, again, I wanted to avoid doom and gloom, and it won't be the biggest, most essential thing. It does unfortunately set a very dangerous precedent, because now this can continue on into the future with varying effects. I can really hope that this might be a kind of one-time thing. I doubt it, but it's hard to be so down when this special program was incredible. There is so much good stuff coming our way, and it has really renewed a lot of the faith that I have in this game and its team. I've been trying to stay positive even while covering these sort of negative topics because I want to have faith in these people, and I've made that very known that I will always wait and see. This is why I wanted to wait and see. They're doing a lot of good things that are going to benefit free-to-play players and just players in general. I even forgot to mention it. They're gonna make sure that the multiplayer game mode this time around will actually stay, so people can still play with their friends, play the silly game mode. The Origami Bird Clash was so much fun, but it just disappeared after the event was done, and that's so sad to see. That's not gonna be the case this time. And if they're managing to implement multiplayer this way, that means that multiplayer can come in new different forms. This is just such a good update coming up, and I really hope people can kind of appreciate what we're seeing right now after so much of recent news, conversation, just updates have been just so depressing, so down, and so aggravating to so many people. This is not a perfect update. Nothing will ever be a perfect update unless they just give us every character for free, make sure we're rich, blah, 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 blah. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. This, however, this is good, and I want people to see it as such. Thank you all very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any more thoughts that you'd like to share on this, please leave them down below. I am really curious to see what other people are feeling about this. And yeah, we have a lot of good stuff coming out. I hope you'll stay tuned for it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!